Hello everyone, I'd like to inform you that AWS WAF have extended its regular expression regex support, allowing regex patterns to be expressed in line within a rule statement. AWS WAF is a web application firewall that you can use to monitor web requests that your end users send to your applications and to control access to your content. Previously, you had to create a regex pattern set, which provides a collection of regex patterns in a rule statement. Even if you want to use just a single regex pattern in your WAF rule logic, with inline regex, you can now include a single regex pattern directly inside a WAF rule statement, simplifying how WAF rules are expressed within your Web ACL. In addition, inline regex will definitely reduce the amount of Web ACL Capacity Units you used compared to the regex pattern set. AWS WAF uses WCUs to calculate and control the operating resources that are required to run your rules, rule groups, and Web ACL. There is no additional cost for using inline regex in your rule statements, but standard service charge for AWS WAF still apply. Support for inline regex match is available in all AWS WAF regions and for each supported services. Our use case will include the following: to create inline regular expression within a rule statement, to test the inline regular expression within the rule statement. Let's go into the AWS console for a brief demonstration. From the AWS console, search for WAF and Shield in the search box and click on WAF and Shield. Click on Create Web ACL. Now, we have given our Web ACL a name, a description, and a CloudWatch metric name. For this demo, I've chosen our resource type as regional resources, but customers can also use Amazon CloudFront distributions. For this demo also, I've chosen our region to be US East 1, but customers can select from other regions. Also, I've associated our Web ACL with an application load balancer. Then we click on Next. Here, customers have the option to use AWS managed rules, but this demonstration will be for a custom rule. Select Add My Own Rules and Rule Groups from the Add Rules drop-down. We select the rule builder. That will be the first step to build our own rule. The goal of this rule is to match our inline regular expression in a query string. Then, if there is a match, we want AWS WAF to block the request. Also, we will be including a URI path that starts with a string in creating our command. Under Rule Builder, you can use the Rule Visual Editor or the Rule JSON Editor. So we'll stick with the Rule Visual Editor. We have a name provided for our rule. For this demo, we choose a regular rule type. Customers can also choose the rate-based rule type if they want to limit the number of requests allowed in a 5-minute period. Under If a Request, we have a couple of options for monitoring your request based on the request that will be created below. You can either inspect your traffic that matches the statement, or you are creating multiple statements, or you want to apply logical operations on how you want your request to match a statement. You can choose any of these options as it applies to your use case. For this demo, we choose matches all the statements hand. The reason for this choice is because we want our request to inspect an URI path and our regular expression to be inspected in the query string. For statement 1, for inspect, we select URI path from the drop-down, as we will be including a URI path during our match testing. For match type, we select start with string from the drop-down. As the inspection of the URI path, we start with a string. For strings to match, we type a double /. This would help to detect HTTP request with double / in the query command and query string with a random string of characters. For text transformation, we leave it as none. For statement 2, for inspect, we select query string from the drop-down, as we need a query to inspect our inline regular expression match. For match type, we select matches regular expression from the drop-down. As this relates to the main topic of the video, it allows us to include inline regular statement in our rule instead of using a regular expression pattern set. For regular expression, type the regular expression of your choice. For text transformation, we select URL decode Unicode from the drop-down. This is needed for the URL encoded data in the query string and part of a URL to be decoded by the web server to retrieve the original data. Under action, we are selecting block. This is telling AWS WAF the action to take when a request match the statement we have listed above. There are options customer can choose from. We have allow. This allows the request to be forwarded to the protected AWS resource for processing and response. We also have count. This is saying AWS should count the request but does not determine whether to allow it or block it. We have capture and challenge. You can configure your AWS WAF rules to run a capture or challenge action against web requests that match your rules inspection criteria. Then we click on add rule. Now we can see some details about our rule, which include the name, the capacity, and the action. Then we have to decide on the default Web ACL actions for requests that don't match any rules we have created. To recap, we have created a rule that says if the inline regular expression matches the query string, we want to block it. So the Web ACL default for requests that don't match this rule, we allow it. Then we click on next. Here Then we select next again. We leave everything as default here and we select next. Here we can review everything we have created, and we can edit any step if we need to. Scroll down and you click on Create Web ACL. Now that we have our Web ACL rule created, let's test this out. For a brief overview, we are saying that any inline regular expression that we have created within the rule that matches with the characters in the query string, we want AWS WAF to block it, as I have mentioned earlier on. And this is the action here. We need to create a command based on the rule created to detect HTTP request, which is for our load balancer, with double /, which is right here, and query string with a random string of characters that are between 37 and 40 character long, which is right here. So we test this out from our terminal using the call command. First, we want to make sure that we're able to get access to our application load balancer first. Okay, so this is good. We have access to our load balancer, the application load balancer. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to test this out, writing out our own command by using this call command with this rule that we have created to the application load balancer. And the response we are trying to see here is to see that we have this action blocked, because what we have there as our inline regular expression, since it's going to match up with what we have in the string here, so that our expectation for the response is for this request to be blocked. So before I run this command, couple of things that I wanted to mention is the get option that you are seeing here is to help us retrieve our HTTP. And also, when you look at here, the double / that we have here was actually included in our rules over here. And everything you are seeing here also is the URL part, that we define for our query parameter. So need to see the response now. So this tells us that the request was blocked, which means that our rule does work. So in this video, what we have done is that we created an inline regular expression instead of using the regular expression pattern set. So we specify in our rule that if the inline regular expression matches what we have in the query string, we want AWS WAF to block it, and that is what happened. We can see that the request was blocked. To learn more about AWS WAF regular expressions and more information about the service, visit the AWS WAF documentation. Thank you.